Welcome back to the College of Tuber Studies. Today we're talking about video upload frequency. How many videos should you be putting out? Once a week? Every day? Once a month? This is an important question, so let's get into it. First of all, regardless of frequency, the most important thing is consistency. Consistent uploads. Even if you're uploading once a month, at least be sure to upload once a month. Be consistent about it. After that, what you need to consider when you're determining how many uploads you're going to make is what kind of videos you're doing, because some necessarily take longer time than others. For instance, if you're doing animation, something that is grueling in the amount of work that goes into it, then it's going to be less frequent. If you're doing something like this, though, where I just turn on a webcam and talk about something I know very well, it can be more frequent. On my main channel, I used to do 3 times a week. Now I've cut back to 2 for a while. And on this channel here, I have started to do 3 a week, but they're all on the same day. I kind of like that. Having one day where 3 videos comes out, it's an interesting way to do things. And going back to consistency, the schedule is also important. It's something that many new YouTubers might resist because you don't want to feel locked into something, but it's good for your audience to know exactly when you're going to upload. They need to know I upload Wednesday at 6 p.m. I upload Tuesday and Friday at 6 a.m., which is what I do on my main channel. So try to be consistent and try to be on a schedule that your audience knows. When determining frequency, not only do you have to take into account the kind of videos you're making, but in general, you have to think of how fast can I come up with ideas? What is my idea generation rate? Because you don't want to make so many videos that you can't keep up with ideas for the videos, or else you'll just be making a video where it's like, well, I don't have anything to say, but I'm supposed to upload today, so here I am. Then you also need to think about the amount of time you need to put into each video, which goes back to what are the types of videos you're making in order to make it the highest quality. How much time do you need for planning the video, shooting the video, editing the video, and then making a thumbnail and uploading it and writing the descriptions and the tags and all that. It's a case-by-case basis depending on what your life is like and how skilled you are at making YouTube videos and how technically involved the videos are. And what I would say is find your sweet spot, but try to push yourself a little bit. At the very least, once a week is what you should be aiming for, especially if it's a simpler format like a talking head video talking to the camera. And if you feel pretty comfortable with once a week, maybe you should push yourself to do it twice a week. Just push yourself a little bit beyond what you think you might be able to keep up with. For me on my main channel, I started out doing very irregular uploads, but it was more or less once a week. There was no set schedule though, and sometimes it would be once every 2 weeks, sometimes once every 3 weeks, sometimes once every 6 months. And then finally, once I came back and started doing it more regularly, I was like, okay, I'm going to commit to once a week. Great. And after I had done that for only about, I don't know, a couple weeks, and I got a comment from one of my viewers who was like, great video, see you next week. And I was like, I don't want to make this guy wait a whole nother week for a video. So I started doing 3 times a week because I felt like that was what I could keep up with, even though it was really pushing it. I was worried I wouldn't be able to come up with enough ideas. But you're going to find that when you force yourself to do something, the ideas will come. And if you feel like the time is tight and you're not sure you have the time, you'll make the time if you commit to it. Do it for a short amount of times. If you're comfortable doing once every 2 weeks, try to push yourself to do once a week. If you're comfortable doing once a week, push yourself to do it twice a week. Try to do 3 times a week if you can, because what it's all about, especially in the early days when you have like under 1,000 subscribers, you need to be building up the number of videos on your channel for multiple reasons. First of all, you need more content so that when new viewers find your channel, they can watch more and figure out what you're all about. But it's also about you. You need to figure out what you're all about. You need to figure out how do I make videos, first of all, depending on your level of experience. What is my channel all about? you're working on your presentation on camera. And if you're uploading infrequently, that's just a lot of practice that you're not getting in. It's a lot of repetition that you're not doing. And it's going to take much longer to build your confidence, your voice on YouTube, and it's going to take longer to build an audience because there's less content. You need to stick with the schedule once you pick it, once you settle on a schedule. I mean, missing it every once in a while isn't the end of the world, but if you're really spotty with it, the audience isn't going to stick with you. People have very short attention spans on YouTube. Certainly, you will have a certain number of subscribers who will come back and watch your videos if you go away for like 5 years. But most people will lose interest or they'll forget about you if you go away for too long. If you look at channels that have failed or channels that were once healthy and now don't get a lot of views, it's because they went away for a prolonged period of time, and I'm talking months, and then came back and no one was watching anymore. Just in general, if you're irregular with uploads, you upload once a week and then you miss a few weeks and then you come back, it's not good because you lose momentum and you have to build that momentum back up. You have to remind people that you exist and that you're still making videos. And people also don't want to invest themselves in a creator who doesn't seem to be consistent. They want to know that you're going to be there when you'll say you'll be there, and that even if the product is not the greatest, it doesn't matter. That's the other thing, is when you're uploading more frequently, the quality of each individual video and the success of each individual video doesn't matter as much. If I have 3 videos I'm coming out with this week, if one bombs, if one is a terrible video, it doesn't matter because I have another one coming out in a few days. If you're uploading once a week, the pressure isn't too bad, but it's kind of like, I need to make this video for this week good. So that's why I would suggest doing more uploads, because it frees you up to do more stuff, to take chances and not worry so much about the quality of each video. That's the other thing, is if you limit yourself to fewer videos, you'll obsess more about the quality, you'll be more perfectionistic, and sometimes just pushing yourself to do more than you're comfortable with will kick your butt to get past the perfectionism and just do it. When you are a small YouTuber, when you haven't built an audience, you need to just be doing it. You need to be honing the craft, as I say over and over again on this channel, because you don't have the luxury of being a perfectionist. It doesn't matter if you make the best video ever because no one's watching it because you don't have an audience. You need to be building the audience with the best you can do on the shortest timetable possible, to be putting out the most work with the highest quality you can manage in that time frame. Okay, and a couple notes from my main YouTube channel. You might have some questions from some things I've mentioned. I used to do 3 uploads a week, and now I've cut down to 2. I did that about 3 or 4 months ago. Why was that? Why did I suddenly cut back the number of uploads? Well, it was because my channel started to grow a lot, and it became obvious that they wanted a certain type of video. I started doing comedy sketch videos, and it became clear to me that the 3 times a week wasn't going to work as much because I needed to focus more on what the audience was wanting. And the audience shifted a bit, so I had to shift with it because I can't come up with that many comedy sketch videos. So I do 1 comedy sketch and 1 not comedy sketch. And I feel like doing 2 that weren't comedy sketches like I had been doing would not appeal to most of the audience. So it was a problem that came about from growth, which is a good thing. So as your channel grows, maybe you cut back the number of uploads you do so that you can tailor it more towards the audience that's there. On the other hand, a year ago, when I had about 20,000 subscribers, I did vlogging every day in August, and I uploaded a video every day except I missed 1 day in August. And that was good for me because I was able to, it was like just forcing myself to be constantly creative. Maybe you could try that and see how far you can push yourself. Was it good for my channel? Not really. It didn't gain subscribers. It was actually statistically one of my worst months on YouTube, which you would think it wouldn't be. You'd think even if all the videos were totally bombing, and they didn't do that poorly, but they weren't getting high view counts because I didn't have the time to create really good ideas. I was kind of just going one thing to the next. But as I said, it was good for me, not necessarily good for the channel. But at that point in my YouTube channel's life, it didn't really matter that much if it was kind of a low point. Not something I would do now because my audience is bigger and I've kind of already found my voice and I don't need to put in those reps. It would be too clear that it was just for me and not really for the audience. Not that I was just doing it for me at the time, but ultimately looking back, only a small portion of my audience watched any of it. So keep that in mind. It really has to do with the life of your channel, where it is, how many viewers you have, and if you can afford to put out videos more for the sake of you developing as a creator rather than giving the audience something that they want to watch. Which is a good thing about being a small YouTube channel, is that you have that luxury of focusing a bit more on your craft and a little bit less on what does the audience want to see. And of course, I did another video on managing audience feedback. You don't want to give everything over to the audience, but still you have to make decisions for the health of your channel based on how the audience is reacting. That's it for this video. Please excuse the computer fan noise that started earlier in the video. It's calmed down now. Join me next time at the College of Tuber Studies.